Stand by, record. Okay, recording. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, participants. Welcome to today's module, how to make effective financial decisions in organization, for organizational, good afternoon. Okay. Good day. Welcome, dear participants, to today's program, which is how to make effective financial decisions for organizational success. So let us get the ball rolling. Before we start, let us do a pre-test. So for this particular pre-test, I will need you to go to this page. Okay, please use your mobile devices and scan the QR code that is shown on the screen. Or you may type www.kahoot.it and then key in the PIN number 64900396 or scan the ID code. Now we wait for participants. Okay, we have V in already. Very cute Michael. We have Hannah in already. Okay, let's start our pre-test. By right, you should have music, but here to have music.
Next.
So fast? Done?
Done.
Okay, next question.
How come I know? I answered it.
It goes according to the time also. Slowly take your time, yeah?
Oh, mine not.
Question. Okay, 2% answer ready. Next one. Okay, not bad. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, next one. Okay, we got two answers. Next.
No one said.
This one is the correct.
Okay, why?
Sorry, I cannot respond. The rest of the three are public organizations. clubs can be private as well.
Hospital also can be private.
Hospitals it can be private.
Schools also. Schools can. Also taking also. Yeah, actually I'm so.
Which one are all?
Shareholders.
Shareholders. Okay, very good.
What are the gaps? I don't know what's that.
4,000 plus. Next one.
Most of the knowledge is not education, business organization. Not
Students are answering too fast. Wow, so fast. Okay, good.
This is like this.
Next one. Next one. Okay, which one is three forms?
Business entities. Business entities. I don't know. So maybe also can be. Okay, answer.
Okay, done. Okay, so we are done. So
Wait, I was in number one.
we got number 3, number 2, and number 1. Yay! Thank you. Welcome. Congratulations.
Exactly. Is it a timing difference?
So we have a winner. We have a winner already. Yay! Okay, so let's continue. So we are done with our pre-test question. So why we are doing this pre-test question is because we wanted to understand at the current moment where our participants' current level of knowledge is. And then after our training session, after our module information presentation session, the participants will be able to learn and will be able to understand, and supposedly at the end of the session, participants will be able to gain more knowledge and achieve better understanding of the module that is being delivered. Yeah, so that is the purpose why we are having this pre-test to evaluate the current position of the knowledge level for the participants. So with that, we are able to wrap up this particular pre-test session. And after the pre-test session, let us go into our little icebreaker. Break the ice. So what is the purpose of this icebreaker? We would like to get to know each other better for this particular session so that we are able to create that rapport and then create that connection between the trainer and the participant, and also among the participants themselves. So that is why we would like to have this simple icebreaker. So for this simple icebreaker, kindly scan this QR code, or in your browser you can type the short URL rb.gy/6yjrpr in order to go to the simple icebreaker page. So for that icebreaker, ladies and gentlemen, we will be putting in a little bit of our self-introduction, which is putting in our name, describe ourselves in using 5 little information, you can use any type of information. For example, I am 172 cm tall, for example. Oh, I am 75 kg heavy, or for example. That's a little bit of information of ourselves. And then later on, you may upload a simple photo of ourselves onto the little icebreaker page. Yeah. So after you have scanned the icebreaker QR code, we will be able to go here. You'll be able to see this page. So on the right lower corner, there's a little plus. Okay, let's utilize this couple of minutes for you to put in your name on the top, and then think of a little bit of information for you to put that you would like to share with all of us, and then put in a nice little photo. So my little photo is, oh, work hard. Don't forget to add a pretty photo, handsome photo of all the participants. Selfie also can. Oh, there we have it. We have our participant number 1. Well, let's share a little bit of our participant number 1's information. Phoenicia is her name, and she's graduated with a Master in Finance, as well as professional qualification, ACCA. So she likes dancing in the gym. I like weight training in the gym. She likes dancing in the gym. And she's staying in Shah Alam. I'm staying in Shah Alam as well, the High Com area. And then she loves music. Yay, music lover. And then her latest fan base, or her latest music instrument favorite is Yilma and Maxime. Ooh, the instrumental musicians. Alright.
How do I click something?
Then the plus at the bottom. But done. So our participant number 2 is finalizing and putting in her photo shoot. Is it close? Is it so? Don't have one? Which one? B. How to press which button to press?
What did you have? I had one done button down here. Oh, what's this? 4.46.
Well, there seems to be a little error. Okay, we give her at least 1 more minute for her to find the submit button.
Refresh.
Copy all the materials that you have typed first. Copy all the materials first. Ladies like selfies. able to find the submit button this round? Sometimes that's the issue with different versions.
Can I just introduce myself then? I'm not able to use the apps.
Can, no problem. Let's pass the mic to Miss Hannah.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Hannah.
Oh, we try to
Oh,
come in
yeah,
front.
sure.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I have a master's in accounting and finance. I'm also the alumni of Birmingham City University. I love cleaning. And then I will weigh at 47 kg in March. Also, what else? How many have I given?
5. You keep 3. 2 more.
I'm a mother. And lastly, I love accounting. That's why I come to this training.
Yay! Thank you, Miss Hannah. Yay! Great sharing by our participant, Miss Hannah. Okay, so with our simple icebreaker, let us proceed to our next particular part, which is our module program introduction. But before that, let's share a little bit on the icebreaker. Actually, there are many activities that we are able to do for the icebreaker. We can do some stretching, we can do some running around, we can do, as per just now what we did, sharing. Well, actually, with the using of Padlet.com, we can actually share a lot of different participants' information over here. If let's say we have 50 participants, then we can put up all the 50 participants' information on the screen. Plus, if we want to put in their email at the bottom, for example, email, then we will put in their email, their contact number, then each of the participants will be able to communicate with each other very easily. And since their photos are there, their little bit of information are there, they are able to connect very well using this particular simple icebreaker method. So we highly recommend this method for you as well in your future undertakings with your classes and students and participants. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So we are able to settle our icebreaker. So with that, let's go into our introduction, which is how to make effective financial decision for organizational success. So in that particular part, we'd like to introduce in terms of this particular program. Why are we doing this particular program? What's the reason? How does it relate to all of us, all of you, the participants? Well, if you look at this, actually, in many situations today, it is very critical for us to be, it is very critical for us to be in an organization to develop financial literacy. Because many times in a company, there will be individuals or there will be colleagues that did not learn much about finance, did not learn much about accounting. So that is why, with that in mind, we would like to inculcate. Yeah, we like to inculcate, and we would like to be able to share this information, which is to for the organization to develop financial literacy as well as the knowledge to understand and overcome business challenges. Because when the members of the organization and the employees are able to have knowledge on finance and accounting, then with that knowledge, they will be able to apply them into their daily undertaking, their daily duties and tasks, and then with the whatever that is happening in the current market, like for example, currently the Malaysian inflation is increasing, economy is slowly recovering, then with those knowledge, they will be able to better understand and better conducting their duties overall. So that's why we would like to help the organization to improve participant knowledge so that they are able to overcome all the business challenges that they are facing on a daily routine. And also, we would like to assist in terms of enhancing effective financial decision making skills, the skills so that it will be able to help the organization to avoid common pitfall. Because many times, challenges are always there. So if the employees of the company is not equipped with the proper financial knowledge, so sometimes those pitfalls which are able to be avoided are not avoided, simply because the staff didn't realize that. But if the staff or the employees of the company have the knowledge, have the experience, and have the content base already, then whenever they see those type of pitfall, they will be able to overcome. Yeah? And then avoiding the common pitfall that hinder the financial performance. So instead, able to drive the organization to greater heights. So that is why always we would like to encourage all the participants, all the employees of the companies to be able to equip themselves with knowledge of finance, knowledge of accountancy, so that whatever pitfall that comes in, whatever challenges that comes in relation to accounting finance, in relation to marketing, in relation to sales, which are many times interrelated, they will be able to overcome the challenge and therefore bring the company to greater heights. So having said that, let's look at our program objective a little bit as well. So at the end of the particular session, all the participants will be able to identify what are the critical decision-making skills required, especially in the accounting and finance area, in order to help the company overcome all the critical challenges. Secondly, to illustrate the correct technique and skills to be able to apply in the decisions that requires them to fulfill in terms of finance knowledge, in terms of accounting knowledge. And finally, to assist all participants to be able to develop decision-making action plan so that they will be able to assist the company to achieve in better heights so that the objectives of the company will be able to be achieved properly. So for this particular program objective as well, we will be looking into all these modules. Okay, let me go through each and every one of the module with you. So for module number 1, we will be exploring the types of business organizations. We will be looking at what types of business organizations are there, what are the typical organizations that are in the market right now, and then usually when people want to start businesses, which type of organization they go for, and so on and so forth. So that is the module number 1. And then later on, for module number 2, we will be looking at identifying the different transactions and documentations that are being used on a daily basis of a particular business. So there are every day many transactions happening. So for all those transactions that are happening, what are the documentation involved between the buyer and the seller and the distributor, the seller and the supplier, and so on and so forth. So there will be many different types of documentations involved. And then for module number 3, we will be looking at capturing transactions within the accounting system. So after looking at the documentations, from documentations, converting the information into data that is readily captured, available into the accounting system, we will be able to record those information into the computer system for easy maneuvering and easy preparation later. So that is why we will be looking at, for this particular document, for example, the supplier sends the products to us, so we will have delivery notes. So once we got the delivery notes, how do we capture, or what type of information do we capture into the computer system, accounting system, so that this information are able to be shared within the organization. So for that, we will be looking at module number 4, which is our double recording, double entry system for accounting. So after module number 3, we are able to capture the information into the accounting system. We must also follow the typical recording of the accounting system, which is the double entry system, the debit, DR, and the credit, CR, yeah, for accounting. So capturing the information into the system and then converting them into DR and CR. After that, in module number 5, we will be looking at understanding of the banking system and the transactions. What types of transaction will involve the banking system? Money coming in, money going out. Does it go into the bank, or do we keep it in our company and do not go into the bank? And when we issue a payment, we will make by issuing checks, by sending instruction, by direct debit. So that we will look into the banking systems. After the banking system, we will be looking at categorizing payroll for allocation of expenses. So we're looking at human resources payroll, the salary payment, and also the different types of expenses that are involved within the company, of the electricity, water, rates, and all that. And after that, we'll be looking into module number 7, which is documenting sales and purchases transactions. We sell to our client, and also we buy from our supplier. So all those type of selling, and buying, how do we record them into our system? So that will be the sales and purchase transactions. And then after the sales and purchase transaction, finally, we will go into module number 8, which is inculcating ethics and values in financial reporting. So many of us will be asking, is it important to look at ethics and values? Yes, very important as well. Because with the inculcating of values and ethics, we will be able to avoid fraud in happening in the future. Because from the start, we would like to inculcate the good values, the good ethics into all of us who are learning about accounting, learning about finance, so that we will be able to follow up with and apply all these good ethics, good values, and the instant we are able to see any not so correct transactions happening or not so correct recording being done, we will be able to identify them, and we will be able to report them accordingly to the authorities. Yeah? So those would be our module 1 to module 8 for our program. So for that, let's go into module number 1. Module number 1, today will be exploring types of business transactions. So we will be going deep into what types of business transactions are there. So module 1, exploring types of business organizations. With this particular module, we will be looking into defining business organizations. So for the part of defining business organizations, what we will be doing is we will define what a business organization is all about, what does it do, what are the limitations, what are the financial and what are the legality in terms of a business organization. Yeah, because whenever we want to start a business organization, there will be many limitations, many procedures for us to follow. Even if you want to start yourself a business organization, you have to go to the local authorities to check the name, whether the name is suitable for you to start off. Yeah. And then if the name has been used up, sorry, you cannot be using that particular name anymore. Okay, then after that, after the defining business organizations, we will be looking into explaining reasons for forming a particular business organization. Oh, you want to start a business, is it? Okay, very well, very well. Why do you want to start that business? What's the logic for you to start that business? Are you looking at starting a sole proprietorship business? Or are you looking at starting a partnership? Maybe the three of you would like to start a partnership business together. or maybe the five of you would like to start a partnership together. Sometimes when you go to dental, you look to check with your dentist. Oh, you got tooth pain. Then normally when you look at the dental shop or office name, it will be Dr. Ali, Dr. Muthu and Associates. So typically those are partnerships. Or sometimes you see Ali, Muthu and Co, CO. So those are partnership businesses as well. Yeah. So you have to decide, hey, what type of business that you would like to start. And from the explaining the reasons of forming a particular business, we will be looking into what are the various types of business that is available in the market for us to start up. Yeah. So in the market there are various type of organizations. There are sole proprietorship, there are partnerships, there are limited liability partnerships, there are private limited companies, there are public limited companies, and then there are mutual associations, there are simple associations, and then there are also cooperatives, koperasi. So there are so many types of organizations that we are able to start up, and then we also have a political association, a non-political association. Recently there are a couple of non-political associations being set up and it's widely shown in the news, yeah, as we can see. And after the identifying of the various types of business organization or just organization, we will be looking into describing what are the common features of those business organizations, because we would like to know, if we were to start a business or we were to start an organization between sole proprietor and partnership, what is the common features? Or between a partnership and a private limited company, what are the common features? Or between a cooperative versus a partnership, what is the common features? So understanding all those features, that will be enable us to make the better decision to start off the suitable business organization or a organization for ourselves. So that is the logic for us to look at the describing of common features. So for that, I've gone through the introduction for module 1, and then after module 1, I will be looking into defining business organizations. Well, if let's say participants currently you are thinking of having a thought of setting up a business, so why not I share with you a little bit in terms of registering for a business. So when you are looking at, for example, yourself and your sister, you want to do a cookie making business from home, which is a very good business to do, especially now going to be a festive season around the corner. So if you and your sister have decided, okay, since there are 2 persons, of course we will not go for a sole trader. Yeah, probably we will go and register for a partnership business. Okay, for yourself and your sister. Okay, so 2 of you will go to registrar of business. Okay, so registrar of business. So for example, let's look at registrar of business. So if you are looking at registrar of business, okay, why not look at it? Registrar of business, Malaysia. Okay, registrar of business, Malaysia. So that will be under SSM. ROB SSM. Ours SSM will be Suruhanjaya Syarikat, Malaysia. So that is where we register the businesses, we register for the companies and so on and so forth. So under the register for businesses, you are able to look for the type of name. Actually, there are many information over here. When you have the time, you can go through. Yeah. So for example, if you are looking at, oh, I want to start up a business, so registrar of business, so RB, which is here. So if you want to look at, oh, I want to start a business, what are the fees that I must pay? Then you can look at tables of fees, then you can look at your guidelines, you can do your e-search, search for the name that is suitable for your business. Because if let's say you thought of a name, okay, our name for our business is 2C's Cookies for your partnership, 2C's Cookies partnership. Then you need to search. You need to go through the e-search to see whether the 2C's Cookies partnership has been taken or has been used by other people already. Or if it is used, then I'm sorry, you cannot register using this business name. Then probably you are able to use another partnership name. Maybe what is your name? What is your sister's name? For example, if we are looking at participant Miss Vansha, then maybe she can use her name and her sister's name, V and C, cookie partner, for example. And then you do a simple search to see whether the name has been taken up or not. If it's taken up, sorry, if it's not taken up, okay, you are able to use that name. And then after that, let's look at the name table of fees. Can you see? You want to start a business, you register your trade name, it's going to be 30 ringgit, 60 ringgit for 1 year. If you are using a personal name, then it's even cheaper, 30 ringgit for 1 year. Then later on, when you have a branch, it's just 5 ringgit for each branch. Cheap. So if you're looking at registering a partnership, so partnership is just 60 ringgit per year, and then depend on how many partners that you're having, add in, you just need to top up the amount of money for your partners. So this is for companies, business renewal, training, personal name. So all these are readily available in the SSM's portal, which you are able to refer for you to register and for you to estimate how much you are supposedly used for starting the business. Yeah, the most economy is sole proprietor, followed by partnership, and of course we understand many of us have seen the word Sendirian Berhad or private limited before. If it is private limited, more or less it's going to be somewhere around 2,000 plus. So it is a bit higher. So if you are just looking at just starting your business, we would recommend probably a sole proprietor or a partnership for easy or easy payout of starting capital. Yeah, more economy. So with that, that is a simple introduction of the module 1, which is exploring types of business organizations, where we are going to be looking at, again, defining business organizations, and after that explaining the reasons for forming, and after that looking at identifying what are the various types of businesses, and finally describing the common features of the different business organizations. So with that, I go into the first main topic, which is the defining business organizations. So in defining the business organizations, we look at people's interaction. Why do we want to do that? Because what is a business organization? Mainly it is the interaction of people within a particular organization. And then we want to understand each people's individual's role within that organization so that the organization is able to run well. And then we would like to look at exchanging of information within the business organization, because many times different departments will be doing different jobs, different tasks, different work, and the different people will be communicating with each other in order for sharing of information, in order for the completion of the task. And finally, focusing on specific goals in order to achieve within the same department, or sometimes different departments will be working together to achieve the common goal of the company or of the business. So if let's say the business want to achieve 2 million sales for this particular financial year 2023, then the whole company, employee, staff, everyone will be working towards achieving the same common goal, which is hitting the revenue of 2 million for the particular year 2023. So these are typically what we are going to be looking at in terms of defining a business organization. So let's look at an organization. A typical definition for organization is that it is a social arrangement. Of course, social arrangement means it's an arrangement between people, probably between the 3 of us, or the 5 of us, or the 10 of us, or 20 of us, 30 of us, and so on and so forth. Yeah? It is a social arrangement which pursues collective goals. We have a goal that we want to pursue. So the 10 of us get together, so we pursue the same goal. Social arrangement which pursues collective goal, which controls its own performance. We need to control our own performance, and which has a boundary, as you can see over here with the boundary, separating it from its environment. So this over here, the couple of main points is that a organization is a social arrangement between people. Yeah? People set it up, and then there will be people working within the organization, and then they will have their collective goals, vision, mission, and goals, where they want to go, what they want to do, and then they will need to control their own performance. Other people will not be controlling for them. How fast do you want to run for your company? How fast do you want to achieve for your particular 2 million goals? That is your own performance. And then finally, there will be always a boundary separating it from its environment. The limitation, the liability, that comes together with the business entity. So if it is a sole proprietorship, then the liability is unlimited. So that is the business identity, business separate identity classification. Yeah? So hence the boundary, because we will assume the business and its owners as separate entities. So all organizations must concentrate on achieving these 3 points. So what are the 3 points? So the 3 points would be the social arrangements, the collective goals, and also the control of performance in order to direct towards the correct goal. So if we look at our reasons for forming, why do we form a business? So we form a business is because we want to achieve overcoming individuals' limitation. One person, she want to do this, she want to do that. Wow, so many things she want to do. But she's only one person. The limitation is that one person can only do so much. That is why we come together, we form a business entity in order to overcome the individual's limitation. More brains, more set of hands, and so on and so forth. More experience, more capital, don't forget. And then enable employee specialization. She's very good in finances, she's very good in accounting, I'm very good in sales. Why not the 3 of us work together? You cover your area, I cover my area, she covers her area. So that's where we are able to have employee specialization. We do what we are good at, but the couple of us come together, we move towards achieving the company goals. And we are able to save resources. Instead of one person doing so many things, we can have many people doing many things. So we are able to save resources, especially time. Yeah? One person, you want to do so many things, probably you need to take 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days. But when many people doing so many things, maybe 1 day can get the whole thing done. Yeah? So we are able to save resources, and at the long run, save money, save finances, and so on and so forth. And along the way, when we are performing all the different tasks, we are able to accumulate and share knowledge within the company. So when the seniors are in the company, then there will be juniors coming in, and the seniors will be able to share the knowledge with juniors. Information will be stored inside the computer system, the network. When the juniors comes in, they will be able to access all those information, and so on and so forth. Very easy nowadays. Computer network, cloud network, you want to access information, much more convenient. And creating synergy for productivity. When many people come in together, they are able to focus, they are able to create that workflow, that work environment in order to achieve better productivity rather than just one person doing everything. So how does organizations differ between themselves? It differs by these couple of factors. So number one, how big the size of the company goes by, you've got 50 staff, I've got 20 staff, they've got 10 staff, they've got 2 staff, and so on and so forth. And then after that, number of organizational level, whether it is a tall organizational structure, or whether it is a flat organizational structure, whether it has many branches, whether it only has one branch, and so on and so forth. So it depends on the style of the company itself. What is the span of control? That is looking at the number that is directly under the responsibility of one manager. If one manager needs to control 35 staff versus one manager who need to control 5 staffs, probably the manager who control 5 staff will be slightly easier than the one that need to control 35 staffs. And then what is the centralization versus decentralization of the company? To look at decision-making power. Is it all decision-making need to go back to HQ, the headquarters, or the branch managers, they also have their discretion power? So it depends on the company structure as well. What is the criteria for departmentation? How do they departmentalize their company departments? Is it by geography? Is it eastern region, western region, upper region, southern region, or the whole country itself? Or do they differentiate by product? Okay, if this product, don't care whether you're upper region, central region, northern region, western region, you just take care of this product. Or is it by function of the company? So again, it depends on the company itself, how they arrange. And then what is the motive of the company? Is it profit making or is it non-profit making? And then what is the ownership of the company? So proprietorship, partnership, private limited company, public limited company. Is it a private company, privately owned, or publicly owned, or government-linked company, GLCs in Malaysian scenario? So all this plays a role in terms of how organizations differ. And not forgetting level of technology. Some companies, they don't use technology. Some companies, they use a lot. A typical one that you and I always see when we go to cafes or restaurants, you will realize some of the cafes, some of the restaurants, they will have iPads, they will have computers, pads, they will have phones, smart devices to take the orders, and then the order straight goes into the kitchen. But some restaurants, they will still be shouting, "Teh tarik satu, kopi dua, kurang manis," and so on and so forth. Yeah? So we are able to see the difference in terms of technology, the delivery also. Don't forget, nowadays we have mini robot. Mini robot coming in, very cute, the robot, especially the kids. The kids loves it. The mini robot comes to your place with the wheels, and then you take the tea, and then the mini robot goes back to the kitchen. Very nice. And then sources of finance, whether you are getting the money or capital for your business from within your particular business or from outside of your business. So outside from your business would be probably get from the loans or get from the financial companies as well. And then finally, what is your legal status of your business? Is it a company, or is it a private company, or is it a public company, or is it partnership, or sole provider, and so on and so forth. And then we look at identifying the various types of business, engaging, whether it is engaging in commercial or industrial activities. What does it do? Or whether it is expecting with purpose to make profit, or is it not profit? So we have different types of companies. Businesses, the normal businesses is mainly for profit oriented, but there are also organizations that are not for profit oriented, like for example the association for single mothers, or the association for the women and the kurang upaya, and so on and so forth. And then previously we have done CSR activity for the association for the mentally challenged children in Malaysia. So those association, non-profit oriented, is for the purpose of the welfare of the children, for the purpose of the welfare of the single mother, of the women, and also for the less fortunate categories. Yeah. And then what is the aim of the organization? Is it with the aim to benefit the public, or with the aim to benefit only a certain group of individuals? So it depends as well. And then finally, reviewing the public sector and non-government sector. So for these various type mini topic, we will be looking at these couple of sub-areas. So what are the types of businesses, what are the types of organizations are there? So the organizations that are business organization, which is engaged in commercial and industrial activities with the purpose of making profit. Very, very normal. And after that, we have not-for-profit organizations, which is, of course, the keyword tells us already, it's not-for-profit, it's mainly for the benefit of the different categories. So this one is not with the purpose to seek profit, but they want to provide benefit to the public, for the benefit to the public, to the less fortunate, such as good government or key services, health, education, police. Normally these are not for profit. Yeah? Police forces, armed forces, public universities, public hospitals. These are mainly for the benefit of the people. Yeah? So if you go to the public hospital, you only pay RM1 for registration. So cheap. Sorry to say that if you go to private hospital, they will ask you whether you got money or not. If you want to get yourself admitted, they will ask you to put in deposit and so on and so forth. If no deposit, sorry, sometimes can't even get admitted. That's the irony of private versus public. So they can be divided into two main types, which is public sector organizations as well as non-government organizations. So both are also not for profit, but public sector organizations are government departments, 100% related to the government. But if it is a non-government organization, then they are the not for profit. They're not for profit, but they are also non-government sources. Yeah? So probably they are charity body, clubs and society that is being operated apart, not under the government. So for this type of organizations, ladies and gentlemen, they will need to find their own finances. Yeah? They need to find their own benefactors. That's why they always do fundraising activity. They look for people to donate money and so on and so forth. So very challenging as well. And what are the different types of business organizations available in the public right now or in the market? So we have profit versus non-profit, yeah, private versus public, and then also non-governmental organizations, which we are going to be looking into all this in a short while. So let's look at the profit versus non-profit. So we look at profit-oriented versus non-profit-oriented right now. Okay, what is the difference? We usually will differentiate them in terms of profit-oriented, what is the primary goal, the secondary goal, and also after that we will see the non-profit-oriented, what is the primary goal, what is the secondary goal. So for profit-oriented, their primary goal is make profit. Make profit for who? Make profit for the owners. Primary goal. Yeah. So what is the secondary goal? Of course, secondary goal would contribute to the primary goal. So secondary goal would be, they need to get the input, and then need to pay costs for the input, and then from the input they will process and produce the output so that they are able to sell it to the public, sell it to the customers in order to get the revenue, and from there earn profit for the owners. That is their primary goal. Yeah. Whereas for non-profit organization, the primary goal is to give benefits to their either public or the targeted beneficiary group of people, probably single mothers, probably separated spouses, individuals, or orphanage, yeah, the orphans, the orang kurang upaya, and so on and so forth. So for those non-profit oriented, they will also have output. Their output can be in the form of goods or services, which they would want to benefit the public or the beneficiaries. And their secondary goal also, some of them will also be producing products or services. Yeah? But of course for them, it is most of the time it is tax-free. No need to pay for tax. And then if let's say persatuan single mothers, they may be doing all the anyaman, barang-barang, and the handcrafts. Sometimes you see them selling in the market. So that will be a source of income for them to get for the persatuan and the society, so that they are able to minimize the cost of the operation for their association, and also at the same time earn some pocket money. So that's the main difference. between profit-oriented and non-profit-oriented. And then in terms of private versus public, so private versus public, I open the few. Okay, private versus public, so private sector would be not owned by government. If it is public sector, yes, owned and run by the government. So that's very easy for us to differentiate. So if it is a private sector commercial company, mainly it is for the purpose of profit oriented, which is very normal. Private company will make money. And then the typical legal status of the company would be either a sole trader, a partnership, or a limited company. So limited company, it can be public, it can be private limited. And now let's look at the types of business organization we have. So proprietorship, we have partnership, we have limited liability companies as well. So the typical three types that we are able to see in the market. So if it is a limited liability company, it can be a private limited, it can be a public limited. So for further info, let's go to Malaysia business website. So let's click on this, and then we will be able to go to this website, which is the which is this one. Malaysia business. Malaysia business. So if you later, if you have the time, you want to look at what is the differences in terms of a partnership versus a sole proprietorship versus a company, then you can actually look at this particular page. There are a lot of different information, ownership, legal status, liability, management responsibility, personal liability, a lot of information for you to refer. So that's the type of commercial business organization. So if it's a non-governmental organization, NGO, so this is of course not related to the government. Yeah. So what are the common features? So common features is this few. They focus on performance, they will control with the systems and procedures, able to achieve staff specialization, and then able to pursue a variety of goals and objectives, and then they will be focusing on inputs, process, output, and then sell to the customer. This is normally the typical scenarios. Yeah. So once we understand all these typical common features, so we will be able to easily identify. We have started a business. Organization, which is the suitable organization that is suitable for us. Yeah. So you'll be looking at whether it is performance or improving standards, or whether it is with system and procedure, whether you need to have staff specialization or no need to have specialization. Then you need to know what is your goals and objectives, and finally, do you have an input process in order to get output, or do you just have output? Yeah, and so on and so forth. So you will need to determine that. So with that, now let's go to our question and answer session. Okay, question time, ladies and gentlemen. So in order for you to do this, okay, can you please scan this again? Okay, scan this on the screen. Then you'll be able to put in your answers. Still 0. Able to go in? Okay, we have 2 already. Okay, so you can start with your name the 2 types of business organizations. What are the 2 types of business organizations? We covered 3 types just now. What are the 2 types? So you can submit your answer. Okay, we have our 2 participants putting in the answer already. Okay, very good. So I can close the submission. Okay, close submission. Okay, can done already. Okay, then next question. List the common features of
Show the answer later can.
businesses. What are the common features of businesses? Oh, again. Oh, okay, sorry, again. Okay, now can maybe.
What was the question?
Oh, the question is
Common features.
list the common features of businesses. What are the common features? Still got two. Okay, so we got two answers there already. Okay, very good. So we have the two types of business organization. We know already the common features of the business. We understand already. Okay, now why not we go for the third one? Okay, what are the reasons for forming businesses? Why do you want to form a business? Two reasons. Why so fast? Slowly. Two.
Two reasons. One, two.
Two reasons.
Profit and no, because we have objective practice and service.
So you can still put in your answers, no problem. Still got time, you can still put in. Still can or not? Okay, wait, why not I close the submission first, and then,
I'll just answer from here.
okay, open again. Okay, you can put in the two reasons. Two reasons or three. Three reasons give you bonus mark.
Two already.
Three reasons get bonus mark. You get one extra apple.
Objective purpose.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Profits, providing services, meeting consumer demands. Okay, good. These are the typical reasons for forming businesses. Your profit and your objective and your purpose. Those are the reasons as well. You want to form a business because you want to achieve a profit. You want to form a business because you want to help certain individual. You don't want to look for profit. That is also your reasons. Okay, so with that, thank you. Close the submission. Okay, good job, good job. So with that, we come to the conclusion, which is our business decision encompass any decision that will affect business operation, goal, and future activity. So those are business decisions. Yeah, very, very important. So by understanding the importance of a sound business decision, we will be able to make sure that we can apply the correct decision-making skills into our business in the different various scenarios that will help us to propel our business to greater heights. So over here, I show you the references that has been used for this particular chapter. And then now let's do an assessment for our post-test assessment. Okay, let's refer to the screen. Post-test. Okay, let's do a post-test. Yeah, these are requirements. Okay, you can scan or you can put in the 30268882. Okay, two are in. Okay, let's start.
Oh, no. Oh, you're so... Hey, I teach this. Let me know.
The next one. What happened to the music? Gone. Okay, you are done. Next. Okay, done. Next. Now the music is up. So fast. Okay, good. Next. Next.
Oh, is there? I thought someone outside. Number of companies.
Okay, good. Last one. Final question. Alright.
Alright.
Oh dear. Yay, we have a winner! Okay, so with that, we are able to do, later on we can do a case study. So once the case study is done, for another 20-30 minutes, we'll be able to go for our tea break at 10:30 to 10:50. Okay, thank you dear participants. Let's do our case study now. Ladies and gentlemen, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's session. We continue from what we have settled in the earlier session. So we want to continue on how to make effective financial decisions for organizational success. So before we continue, let us do a simple pre-test, in which the pre-test we will be doing a simple testing on our previous knowledge on the current topic at hand. Okay, before that, can you please scan this QR code so that it's easy for us to answer the questions. One more participant. Okay, we got 2 participants already. Okay, let's start the first question. So which of the following correctly describes functions of a creditor? got 2 answers already. Let's look at the answers. Okay, both says D. Okay, close. Open sesame. The answer is D. Okay, very good. So the next payment to the supplier will be the total of invoices due for payments less the credit note. Okay, so that is the functions of a credit note. Okay, let's go for the next question. Which of the following correctly describe the term credit note? Credit note. Xin thưa con. Faster lên. Oh, now the timing is Jack. Doesn't matter. Okay, one more person to do it. Okay, one answer. How about the second one? Okay, the second answer is in. Okay, close function. We've got 2 persons choosing the second answer. Very good. Answer B. Issued by customer to a supplier to request for a credit note. So this is recorded in the customer's account and will be matched with the incoming credit note from the supplier. Okay, let's look at the next question. What is a trade discount? Trade discount is usually it's a reduction. Reduction at what? Okay, we've got 2 answers already. We've got A and a D. Close. Open sesame. It's a D. Correct answer is a D. Good job. Why is that? Oh, that's because the terms of trade agreed with the customer will determine the level of the trade discount. So that would be the reduction. Okay, next. What is the purpose of a remittance advice? What does a remittance advice do? One more answer to go. Okay, we've got 2 answers already. Got A, you got a B. Close answer. Open sesame. So the answer is A. It provides details of amounts being paid. So that is a function of the method's advice because it showed what the outstanding amounts are being paid. Okay, finally, a calculation question. Zero. 5% trade discount and another 2.5% cash discount within 30 days. So assuming the discount is taken means the 5% and the 2.5% both also taken. So this seems to be a pretty easy question. Okay, close submission. Open sesame. Yes, the answer is A. Good job. 92,625. How is it obtained? 100,000 minus 5%, and after that minus another 2.5%. Then we get 92,625. Okay, good job. So if we want to find who is the winner, yes, for this session, H is the winner, B is the first runner. Yay, congratulations. Okay, so now let us do a simple recap. So what happened for this particular session was that you have joined the earlier session, and the earlier session we have done quite a few mini topics, in which they are under the big topic of exploring types of business organization. And in the exploring types of business organization, you have covered, or we've actually looked at part A, part B, part C, part D. So over here, I'd like to refresh your memory a little bit by giving you a recap of what we have done earlier, in which the earlier for part A, we have looked at defining business organization. So for business organization, we've actually looked at, what are the people's interaction all about in terms of business organization, and then we want to understand, we understood the individual's role within the business organization, and also we've looked at the exchanging of information that occur within the business organization, and then the focusing on specific goals of each of the different organizations, because every organization, they will have their own goals to achieve, yeah? And in which we've also looked at the definition of a business, or rather an organization. So an organization is a social arrangement which pursues collective goals, which controls its own performance and has a boundary setting it from the environment. So that's the typical definition of an organization. And also we've looked at the part B, which is explaining the reasons why we want to form an organization. So the reason was, because we want to overcome the individual's limitation. If one person do work, it's kind of limited. And then we want to look at enabling the employee specialization. What are they good at, so we allow them to specialize. And we want to look at how, under the forming of an organization, we can save resources, because more people will be able to do the task at hand. And then after that, we want to look at how the organization is allowing accumulation and also the sharing of knowledge to take place within the happening of the day-to-day itself. And then finally, we look at creating synergy for productivity. If it is under an organization, synergy can be easily created. And we also looked at how organizations differ from one another. Usually the factors why it differs would be in terms of its size, how big it is, how many number of levels are there in that particular organization, and then what is the span of control, whether they have 5% or 10% or 11% under the control of the manager. And we also looked at whether the organization is centralized or decentralized, whether it is what is their criteria for departmentation,
and then what is the motive of the organization itself, how is their ownership structure is, and then what is the level of technology that they are using, what is the sources of finances that the organization has. Is it within internal, or is it external, or is it from the bank, or is it from the investor itself? And then finally we look at the legal status of those particular different organizations. In the part C, we looked at the various types of organizations, because in the market there are many different types of organization. So for that, we looked at the engaging, whether they are engaging in commercial or whether they are engaging in industrial activities. And we looked at what is their purpose? Is their purpose to make money, or their purpose to create better good for the public? Whether it is with the aim to benefit the public or to benefit the shareholders. So that's a different goal altogether. And then we looked at the public sector and the non-government sector as well. In further discussing the various types of organization, we looked at profit versus non-profit orientation. We looked at private versus the public sector, whether it's a private limited company or whether it is a government-linked agency or whether it is belong to the government entirely. And then we also looked at non-government organizations, those are NGOs, which is a lot of times widely reported in the news. And then for finally the part D, we looked at describing the common features of organizations, which is usually their common thing is, they focus on the performance and they focus on improving the standards. They will look at controlling the organization by using systems and procedures and policies. They will be looking at ability to enable to achieve staff specialization, no matter whether it is public or private or profit or non-profit oriented. Most of them is looking at staff specialization, and then they will have their own variety of goals and objectives that they will want to pursue. And most of it is focusing on the input, process, and followed by output-based type of organization. Typical, this is the typical type of organization where they will have a set of input, where they will process, and finally come up as the output. So with this simple recap or simple refresh of memory, we will be able to now proceed to our module for today. So for today, we will look at module number 2. Earlier we have settled module number 1. So module number 2 will be identifying the various transactions and documentations. So this is the part on identifying various documents and transactions. As you can see on this simple illustration or picture, the introduction over here is usually when it comes to types of transaction, we will have either by way of, probably for that card it looks like a credit card. Yes, you got it right. It's typically via credit. Or otherwise, if you don't use credit, we will use cash. So usually the business transactions is either via credit or via cash. The two different typical ways. So as an introduction, for this particular module 2, identifying various transactions and documentation, we will be looking at firstly listing what are the types of business transactions that is available in the market typically, and then after which we will be looking at hey, we want to have business transactions. How are we going to document them? We must put them onto record. So we must be looking at the documenting of business transactions, and we have to be looking at dealing with different payment types, because we will have different customers. So customer A will be looking at using this payment method, customer B will be looking at using another method, customer C will be looking at a different method, and so on and so forth. So we have to be dealing with different types of payment method. And then finally, we want to look at how are we going to handle the storage of the information. So that will be the introduction to this chapter, where we will be looking at the different types of transactions. So with that, let's go into the module content. So for listing of types of business transaction, we will be looking at sales and purchases. We will be looking at whether they are making payment by cash or making payment via credit. So usually via credit will be buy today, get the products or services today, but pay at a later date, maybe 1 week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and so on and so forth. Yeah? So typically the transactions is either sales or purchases. And then followed by, we need to recognize the cash transactions, as well as we need to review and recognize the credit transactions as well. So how do we do that? Whenever property changes hands, there has been a business transaction, no matter what type of property. Yeah, it can be products, it can be services, it can be assets. As long as any type of things transacted changing hands, then there will be sales and there will be purchases. So sales and purchase occurs typically in two different ways. So the two different ways would be either by cash or by credit. So if it is by cash transaction, how do we record? If it is credit transaction, how do we record? So with the cash transaction, it's much more easy. So on the day itself, when the cash transaction happens, we give the clients the product or services, the client gives us the cash. Okay, very easy. However, when it comes to credit transaction, okay, what happens? So with credit transaction, the point in time when a sales or purchase is recognized, okay, the keyword here is recognized in the accounts of the business is when the transaction occurs. Is when the transaction occurs, and not when the cash are paid or received. So the keyword is, hey, when will we record? We will record when the transaction occurs. So if let's say the transaction occurred today, but the cash we will only receive next Monday, still we will record the transaction as happened today. So now we look at documenting the business transaction. How are we going to document the business transaction? So usually we will be comparing the internal and external documentation. When it comes to documenting, we will be looking at what is the internal documentation all about, what is the external documents all about, and we will be outlining the external documents as well. So this is the mini topics that we will go into for this subtopic. So firstly, we want to look at business transactions can be divided by external and internal documentation. Okay, so now my first question to you is that, hey, what types of documents are there? Okay, that is the first question. Hang on. Okay, what types of documents are there? Okay, start the word cloud. Okay, please put in your answer there. What types of documents are there when a business transaction happens? Okay, what happens when I am the seller? I sell product to you, I send it to you. What are the documents? When you pay me the money, what documents do I give you? When I order firstly from you, what are the documents that I give you? Yes, question. Oh, okay, now. Now can? Okay. Okay, what other documents do we have? When you pay money, what do you get? When you request order, what do you get? When you deliver the products to your customers, what do you give the customers? Oh, very good. A payment voucher, invoices, you can receive the payment, the purchase request, the delivery order, good receipt notes. Very good. Okay, so it's a good time to close submission. Good job, good job. A lot of very, very good items being mentioned over here. Award stars to everybody, yay! Okay, so for that, let's watch a video.
When an intended transaction occurs, we need some proof of that transaction in order to record it in our accounting system. This ensures that the transaction is real and not someone trying to steal money from the company. This proof also gives us something to compare to, so that we can be sure the transaction is entered correctly. Most of the time, this proof comes in the form of some kind of paper or electronic document. We call these documents that prove transactions occurred source documents. They're called source documents because these documents become the source for all of the information recorded as part of the accounting transaction. Different kinds of transactions have different kinds of source documents, so it is important to familiarize yourself with the different source documents so that you know what kind of transaction you need to record. Invoices are a source document that a business sends to its customers detailing the terms, products, and services of a sale. Invoices are typically used for sales on account, meaning that the customer plans to pay sometime in the future. There's no set format for invoices, so they often come in many shapes and sizes. Here are just a few examples of what an invoice might look like. If a customer pays in cash, the business typically provides a source document called a receipt that serves as a record for the receipt of cash from that customer. That's why it's called a receipt. Many people think that a receipt is a source document for money spent, since we are used to receiving receipts from stores when we buy something. But this is looking at the document from the customer's perspective. When the store gives you a receipt, it's a courtesy to you and a confirmation of your purchase, but it's really a source document for the store to prove they received cash from you and why. So, from the business's perspective, receipts are a source document for cash received, not cash spent. Just remember, that's why they call it a receipt, not a spend. Instead, businesses typically use the checks that they write as source documents for cash purchases. Unlike invoices and receipts, checks have a fairly defined look to them. We will learn more about what checks look like and how to fill them out in a later video. In every business, there is always some transactions that don't have a source document provided. But in order to create a record in the accounting system, every transaction must have a source document. To get around this now, a special source document is created called a memorandum, or memo for short. A memo is a simple document that describes the unique transaction so that there is a record of why the transaction is being recorded into the accounting system. Sometimes they are also signed by someone with authority. Memorandums are rarely used in a formal sense by small businesses, but larger corporations still use memorandums as source documents for those unique transactions that don't have any other source document provided. Although there are many other types of source documents, we will just stick to these four main ones for right now. Remember that invoices are used as source documents for sales on account. Receipts are used for cash received, typically from customers. Checks are used for cash purchases, and memorandums, or memos, are used for transactions that don't otherwise have a source document. To learn more about source documents and other accounting topics, check out more of my videos on YouTube or visit toynorman.com.
Okay, this video seems to be a simple introduction of documents involved in day-to-day transaction. This is a very, just a very simple introduction. So from there, let's look at the types of document actually on hand. So typically what we have is external documents, which is the target audience is our users, our customers, clients, and so on. So what are actually the external documents anyway? So external document, it can be a quotation, where it is sent by the seller to the buyer, providing the detail of the goods and services. So that is a form of a use of a quotation. Or it can be a sales order. So a sales order would be if the buyer wishes to purchase the goods and services from the seller, then the buyer will sign the sales order provided by the seller itself. So over here, it will be a confirmed sales order where the seller will be able to produce the product that is ordered already. And then what else? When the delivery order, so what is this? This is when the seller, together with the goods delivered, is send this document to the customer. So the delivery note will act as an evidence, will act as an evidence to the company that the job has been completed. If I'm the company, I send the products to you, I will give you the delivery note for you to countersign, and when you sign, yes, it shows that I have delivered the products to you. And after that, there's invoice. After I have delivered the products to you, the seller will send the invoice to the buyer as a demand for payment. So after I send the product to you, I will send you the invoice. Dear customer, kindly make your payment. Thank you very much. So that's the use of the invoice. And after that, there's a credit. What if the units that I sent or sold to you got 2 faulty units? Then you need to return to me. So that is where credit note is issued. The seller sends a credit note to the buyer to reduce the value of the issued invoice when goods are returned by the buyer. So credit note will come in. And then we have these internal documents. So internal documents, this is where the target audience is our own company's employees, mainly for our own company employees' usage. So firstly would be letter of inquiry, which is sent by the buyer to the seller. If let's say, assuming we are the buyer over here, we send it to the seller to request for the pricing, for us to view what is the quantity, what order, what's the pricing that this seller is able to give us, and the other details of this particular product. Should we have a purchase order, this is sent by us to the seller for the purchase of the goods and services. So we call this the purchase order. And then goods received notes, in short GRN, this is when goods ordered we have received already. So we will issue a GRN for ourselves to show that yes, we have received the goods, and the GRN will be signed by the seller company who delivered the products as well. And after that, invoice. We will issue invoice to our customers when we send our products to them. Similarly, seller will issue invoice to us when they have sent their products to us. And then the payment voucher. This is a document raised by accounts department to show the amount that we have paid to our supplier, or maybe to whoever party that sells product to us. And then later on, we have this expenses claim. What is this? This is the employees to reimburse from the company whatever that they have paid on behalf of the company. So for example, our Milo or our Nescafe at our pantry finished already, so immediately we require the Milo, one of the staff volunteered to go and buy the Milo. So once the Milo is brought back, the staff can claim for expenses from the company. Then we have official receipt. This is a document to acknowledge the payment received from the customer. As per just now, the video that we've gone through, the function of the receipt is more to the company who issued the receipt itself, for the purpose to tell ourselves that, yes, money has been received from the customer. So now we go into the dealing with the payment types, creating invoices for sales and purchase, and then paying upon the receipt of the goods, and sending invoices after delivering the goods, and finally explaining the trade and cash discounts that we will be giving to our customers. So typically, invoices and credit notes. What is invoices? Invoices is when we created, when a sale or purchase happened. So the invoice is with the purpose to chase for money, to demand for payment. So typically, invoices, we have two types. The first type, we call it COD invoice. So COD invoice is paid on the receipt of the goods. So that's why we call it cash on delivery. So COD invoice. However, then we have a second one. We call it the credit invoice. So when does this happen? This is after the goods have been delivered and we want to ask for a payment at a later date. So if it is a cash on delivery, COD invoice, when I send it to you, I will on the spot request money from you. But if it is a credit invoice, I will send to you and I will request the money probably 1 week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. So examples is in the following page. So in this page, as you can see, this is a simple invoice, a typical invoice, where on the typical invoice itself, we have the company name, and then we have the customer name, and then the invoice number, and then the code number for the products, and then the description for the product itself, and then 1 unit costs how much, and then how many units is the customer order, and then finally, what is the total amount? So that will be total up, and the final total amount is the amount that we will bill to the client to request for payment. And this is another sample of the invoice as well, with similar information located on the invoice itself. But this one also, not forgetting, has the tax rate, total tax, final figure. The same for that particular invoice as well. So the credit note is another document which is signed by the seller to cancel part of the previous issued invoice. So for example, the seller has sent 10 units, but 2 units is spoiled. So the buyer sent back 2 units that is spoiled back to the seller. So in this case, the seller will send credit note because they have to deduct the amount total. So sometimes credit note can be treated as a negative invoice. So one of the examples is as below. So initially the company sent the invoice to the customer, but then the customer says, oh, the product that you have sent me earlier on got a few that is spoiled. I will return to you. So once returned to the seller, so the seller will issue a credit note. So the credit note over here will mention that, oh, for this type of this couple of products that we have sent to the customer, a few of them is 2 units of them is 40, 1 unit is 40, and then another 1 unit is 40. So total 4 units are 40 from the total 100 units that the seller has sent to the customer. So the customer over here sent back 4 spot units or wrong units, perhaps. So over here the seller will issue the credit note that is to deduct the amount of money for these 4 units that is spoiled or maybe damaged or maybe wrongly sent. And the next category will be discounts and allowance. Okay, there are 2 types of discount. What discounts is that? Cash discount, or we call it settlement discount, which is the reduction in the amount payable to the supplier. And then, what is the purpose of this cash discount? The purpose is to encourage customer to pay outstanding earlier. Please, dear customer, the earlier you pay, the better. So that is the objective of cash discount. So discount, this is received when the business makes payment within a certain period. So this is actually optional. If you are able to make it within 10 days, so probably the seller say, oh, you must pay within 10 days. If you pay within 10 days, okay, we give you extra 3% discount. Okay, then you take advantage of the 10 days. But what if you were to pay more than 10 days? Then sorry, too bad, we will not be able to take the advantage of the discount. And then the second type is the trade discount. Earlier was cash discount or settlement discount. Now this is called the trade discount. So the trade discount is decided before issuing the invoice. So what is this? This is actually the reduction in the cost of the goods itself. And then usually why they want to give this trade discount? To encourage the customer to buy in bulk. Oh, you are buying 600 units, is it? Oh, why not? You buy 1,000 units. If you buy 600 units, we are only able to give you 3% discount. But if you buy 1,000 units, we are able to give you 5% discount. Why not you take more? We give you more discounts, 5%. Well, the main objective is to encourage the buyer to buy more. Not so much on early settlement, but to buy more. So this is the discount received by business when the goods were purchased. Yeah? So hence the slight difference between a cash discount versus a trade discount. So the cash discount is calculated as the percentage of the list price net of the trade discount. So this is the cash discount. Yeah? Cash discount is calculated after the trade discount. So let's look at one illustration. They pay quick, purchases goods with a list price of 22,000. So the supplier over here offers a 10% trade discount and a 2.5% trade discount for payment within 20 days. So required, calculate the amount pay quick will have to pay if it delays longer than 20 days. So over here, situation number A is more than 20 days. Situation number B is within 20 days, lesser than 20 days. So one is within, one is delayed, one is longer, one is within, one is longer. So we require how much does pay quick will need to pay. Okay, give you 2 minutes. How much will pay quick need to pay if they are paying A more than 20 days, B lesser than 20 days? Okay, the time now is 2:40, give you until 2:50. 1 minute and a half. Okie dokie, time's up. Come, let's do our simple discussion over here. One is delay longer than 20 days, the other one is within 20 days. Okay, if it delays longer than 20 days, what happens? Then the person will not have the opportunity to get cash settlement discount. But trade discount, yes, still get. So the 10% trade discount still get. Therefore, pay quick will have to pay 19,800. So this is just with the trade discount. However, if it pays within 20 days, then they will be able to take advantage of trade discount as well as cash settlement discount. So 2 discounts will be enabled to be taken. So this is the calculation times 90%, which is the 10% trade discount, and also times another 97.5, which is the 2.5 settlement discount. So in this case, 19305. Or another calculation would be times 90% then minus the 2.5% trade discount, also will give us the same figure, 19,305. So therefore, this example over here shows that if take advantage of cash discount, pay lesser. If didn't able to take advantage of cash discount, sorry, pay slightly more. So dealing with payment types, what payment types are there? So this is a second illustration. So supplier, Scary, offers 5% trade discount, Posh. Supplier 2, 7% trade discount, only on the amount in excess of 100. And then supplier 3, Spotty, offers 10% cash discount for immediate payment, or a 5% discount for all items paid within 30 days of purchase. So this question is slightly longer, but we will work it out together. So in February, Ginger makes purchase of goods with the following amount before discounts has been deducted. From Scary, 100. From Posh, 700. From Spotty, 350 cash. 700 to be paid on 14th of February. For goods purchased on 2nd of March 23. So that is from Spotty. Okay, so let's look at how much Ginger will be able to get in terms of discounts. Okay, so first we will look at the figure from Scary, then after that from Posh, then after that from Spotty. Okay, so first from Scary. So from Scary, it is 400 times 5%, only the trade discount. Why 400 times 5%? Because if you look back at the question, it is just 5%. It is just 5% on trade discount. Yeah, it is just the 5% on the trade discount, no more. So for Scary, 400 times 5% of the trade discount. Yeah, so it is 20 trade discount. Okay, tick. Second one, 700. So what does Posh 700 tells us? For Posh, 7% trade discount on anything more than 100. Okay, so Posh is able to get, Posh is able to allow Ginger to get 7% discount. Okay, so 700 times 7% discount, so 49 trade discount. Okay, take this one straightforward, yeah. And after that, for Spotty, 350 cash. So for this cash, 10% discount, $35 cash discount. Okay, where do we get this from? This is from here. 10% cash discount. So 350 times 10%. Okay, immediately 35 cash discount already. Okay, good. Then another 5% cash discount for all items paid within 30 days. Did they pay within 30 days? Yes, they were able to pay within 30 days because from 3rd to 14th, yes, within 30 days. So in that case, 700 times another 5%, so get another 35 cash discount. So these are all the discount that is able to be obtained via this question calculation. Yeah. Okay, so this one should be pretty straightforward, no problem. So allowances is actually other kinds of discount as incentive. So the rebates and all the allowance do not affect the cash function to the great extent because it's just a simple allowance and a type of discounts only, nothing much. So for example, extra unit company can give a FOC because a company usually give free units rather than they lower the price because they want to still accept the, get in the money, however, without lowering the price. So they give you, oh, you buy from us, we give you more units. And how do we handle storage information? So for this part of the mini topic, we will want to look at ensuring data security and availability. We want to look at meeting the demands for information. We want to look at storing past and current records. And also we want to look at how do we use using outside financial performance. So this is the part of handling storage info. So storage of info, of course, we understand that there are so much of storage, so much of information for the company to store, and then we will need a location to store them properly, and then how to cater for the demand of information from within our company, particularly all our managers, our senior directors, they all want the information, and then they will require for the storage of info that we are keeping in the company, especially the databases. So within the organization, records of the past info need to be stored so that reference can be done later. And then information about past trends and current operation, all these need to be stored in order to facilitate planning and decision making. So the routine transaction info for current operation and decision will have to be stored accordingly. And then finally, information about performance, because they need to compare the plans, they need to compare budget, forecast. So this is for the purpose of control. So all these are required by the people inside the information on the storage of info collected in the databases. So for outside the organization, just now was requirement of info from within the company. So what about from outside the company? Who would like to have to use our company info? So other people who would be perhaps a government agency or perhaps other company who are dealing with us. They need to have certain specifications, certain information requirements, certain instruction. So they will require information from our company. And then who else? Stakeholders who are interested in our company's financial performance. So they want to know how is our financial information. So we need to provide them with this information. How about other agencies that require? For example, the tax department of the country, or for example, the registrar of companies. Sometimes when they require our company directorship, sometimes require our company finance information. So we still have to provide it to them. And then how about the retention policy? How long does the company need to store the information? So in terms of categorization, it can be split into permanent files, where the information need to be stored permanently in the company. Then there are also temporary files where the lifespan is a much shorter period. Yeah? Until the transaction has been processed, then this information can be disposed of. And then we have active files, which are always being used. And then we have non-active files, no longer required to be used on a day-to-day basis. And then when information contained within the files are no longer needed, how do we dispose, or how do we keep? So either we dispose, either we keep it properly. So one of the methods is we can PDF it for long-term storage, or we can microfilm it. In some of the libraries, they still have microfilm on the old newspaper and old data storage. Or perhaps we can archive it, store it in storerooms, put it in files. Or if it's really useless already, then we can securely destroy it. Either burn it down or shred it into shredded papers. So in terms of data protection, very important. Data of personal use and all that are protected by the data protection legislation. In the Malaysia is the Act number 709 under the PDPA, which is a Personal Data Protection Act. Yeah, this is under the government of Malaysia. And then the risk of, what is the risk of us holding personal data? For the company, many times when they request personal data from us the consumers, they will mention, oh, the data will be protected, the data will be used for good probable reasons, it will not be simply shared out with other people. So access only is by authorized people and not by unauthorized personnel. So the risk is that, what if unauthorized people get hold of our information? That's why sometimes in the newspapers, there are news of company personal data being leaked out, personal data being hacked into the computer system and then steal the info. So that's why many people easily get phone calls asking them to buy this product, buy that product. I'm sure you ladies also get such messages or calls sometimes, isn't it? And then data subject being harmed by third party, they get to know where we are, then they may be able to use our credit card and so on and so forth. And then the personal data may be used for purpose other than those which is requested for. Yeah? And then personal data is mainly is about living individual, including the information about the living individual as well. So the data controllers will be the people who are using the data. So they must be using our data very responsibly, and do not let our personal data fall into the hands of unscrupulous parties. So for the purpose of data protection principle, all the information for the personal data must be processed and then fairly and lawfully, must go according to the law. Cannot simply be utilized. Yeah? So the personal data shall be held for only one or more specified purpose. Again, it is lawful purpose. Yeah? And then the personal data must be adequate, relevant, and not excessive. So personal data must be accurate and also must be kept up to date. That's why sometimes when you go to Maybank, ATM, or whatever bank that you're using, they will ask you, oh dear customer, would you like to update your latest telephone number for our safekeeping purposes and informing you of the latest development of the bank. So that is for to keep update. So personal data shall not be kept for longer than its purpose. So once it's being used up, it will just be storage. So knowledge of the individual with regards to who the user and how accurate the data should be considered. must be made correction. So what if the information that is being kept by the company of the user is wrong? So that's why the update needs to come in. So appropriate security measure need to come in, need to protect all the personal information of the personal data of the customers and the users. Very, very important in this part. Okay, so with that, we cover all the part 1, 2, 3, 4 ABCD already. Then now, let's go into credit question and answer session. Okay, first question. What is the type of business transaction that we have covered? Ms. Vanisha, what are the two types of cash transaction? Yes. The other one, credit transaction? Yes. Very good. Okay, so the next question, what is the internal and external document? If you still remember, okay, please type out your answer on the internal and external documentation. Oh, okay, hang on. Internal and external documents. Explain internal and external documents. Okay, you can type in a couple of words to indicate internal documents, external documents. Okay, internal documents used by people within the organization, external is used by people outside the organization. Okay, very good. Okay, we got the answer already. Thank you so much. Okay, then next, let's refer to the next page. Okay, 2 more questions to go. Which document will the warehouse issue deliveries receive? I wonder whether the music will be captured. Okay, what's your choice? Done? Okay, 2 answers per letter. Both also say C. Okay, open sesame, C, good job. GRN. Okay, last question. Joe buys goods worth 3,500. 2,000 gets trade discount. No trade discount on the balance 1,500. So next payment within 10 days, you get the 5% cash settlement. How much you need to pay? So 2,000 got trade discount, 1,500 no have trade discount. Oh wow, we got 2 answers already. Very fast calculation. Close. Open sesame. Yes, both also correct. 2,945. Answer calculation. Original price 3,005. So get the trade discount 400. So balance is 3,100. Get another 5% discount. So total need to pay 2,945. Okay, very good. Award starts to everybody. Alright. So these are the references obtained for this referred to for this particular module. So kindly complete the questions in your assessment too, and then get ready to go for your lunch. Have a good lunch ahead. Okay, take care. Bye. See you later. Thank you so much.